Hopefully that you are doing great. So in this lesson, I want to introduce for you how to handle a very top element on the page, that's an iframe. So what's an iframe? So try to scroll in the page and then you see frames here. So just click here and then click on the iframe. Okay. So now let's try to inspect this what we call, maybe we call it an editor box or something like that. Yeah, but anyway, try to inspect this one. So what you see here, okay, something weird here, because you can think that, okay, so weird because we have an HTML task in the middle of the page, because we often see it in the top of the page, right? So what is happening here? So the thing here is that they injected an iframe inside the page. So basically, an iframe, you have something like another HTML page inside an HTML page. So that's the thing. So that means you cannot try to interact on an iframes by a normal way. So that's why we have a specific ways to interact with the iframe. So as an example, so let's say we want to try to access this one, the iframe body, and then try to delete all of the thing here. After that, we will try to input something, some other strings here inside. So how can I do that? Right. So let's try to open your IDE here, and you try to create a new JavaScript class here, something like iframe handle. So just like before, you create a main method inside and then create a web driver instance from the web driver. No, not this one. Web driver dot get from driver, and then driver dot yes to go to the target URL. In this case, I want to copy all of the URL here, and then I paste here. So I don't want to maximize the window. So if I want to interrupt something inside this iframe, I want to switch to that iframe first. So that means I want to have some selector related to this iframe, right? And I want to have the selector related to the element inside the iframe as well to interact after I switch to that iframe successfully. So in this case, this iframe has this ID. So just copy it here, and then I go back here. By from Selenium should be iframe. Iframe. Let's say this is the iframe node on the page. Selector equal by dot id string here, right? And then I will do something like the iframe body. Okay, iframe body selector equal by id again, I think. Yeah, this one. And then this is the body inside. Okay, so by ID, and sorry for the background noise around. Okay, just family member around. That's okay. Hopefully that you can still hear my voice clear. Okay. So if we want to try to interact something inside the iframe, so first thing first, we need to switch to that iframe. So how can we do it? So we call something like driver dot switch to dot frame here, and then we have several methods related to that frame. So we have something like overloading technique here. So we can put an index, we can put a string as the name, something like that. But I think the best way that we can input a web element, that means we try to find the iframe web element and then we put inside. So we can do something like private dot file element iframe not selector here. Oh, iframe not selector here. So that means we will use a web element inside. So let's try to make it simple and easy to read. That I will try to web element here. I call iframe element equal driver.file element iframe not selector here. And then after that, I will put switch to iframe element here, right? So after I switch to the iframe element successfully, so now I can access to the and interact with the element inside that iframe. So I just do normally like driver dot find element by iframe for the selector, and then what I do, I will try to clear. So you can use the clear API from Selenium to do what? To clear something that's existing before you try to write down something here. So we already have some existing content here. So that's why I use the clear, and then I will, delete all of the old contents on this element, right? So I can use the clear here. And then after that, I will send the key. Send key. So I will input something like this is my new content, right? Something like that. So, but we can see something duplicated here. So let's try to put something like web element, and we call it the iframe body element equal this one, and then we can try to replace the whole thing here again here. Okay, and the final one is very important. After you switch to the iframe to interact something inside that iframe, and then you want to continue for the rest of step on the page, you need to, let me try to comment out, switch back to the main frame. That means we need to out of the context of this iframe if we want to do something else on the page. Okay, if you don't do that, your test script will be failing because you will still here inside the iframe, right? So how can we do that? We do driver.switch to the default iframe, default content. That's it. And then finally, I want to do something like driver.quit. Then everything is now look good to me. So except the class name, there was a typo, but I think it doesn't matter. You can correct yourself later. Okay, everything look good to me. So try to run this class, okay, to see whether we can accept access the iframe and then try to input something. Oh, it was so great. So let's try to comment out this one and then run again. I will try to close the browser myself. Here you see this is new content successfully here, right? So we can we could access the iframe and then try to input some text inside the iframe body successfully here. So what if, okay, I don't think I need to do something like, I just want to try to show you that if we don't switch to the frame and then we try to access immediately this one to try to input something, whether we can do that or not. But I don't think I need to do that because you can try it yourself, and then you can say that you will fail on that idea, because if you don't switch to the iframe, you cannot access anything inside that. Okay, so try to practice yourself again and remember the ways that we interact with the element inside an iframe. Okay, and see you in the next lesson.